most of you know that I'm Taylor, and this is...
And I'm Carly.
And we are from the Dietetics Department at IUP, and we wanted to talk to you guys today about nutrition.
So one of the things that we're going to start off with is MyPlate. So have any of you guys heard of MyPlate at all? Yeah? Do you guys use it at all, or have you just heard of it? Or?
I used it for my nutrition class last fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've seen it, but you don't really think about it when you're preparing your own meals or looking at portions?
None of mine.
Okay, that's okay. All right. I don't know if you guys eat at the dining hall, but it's all over the dining hall. Even the napkin dispensers have MyPlate on the back of them, and so it shows you the breakdown. Does anybody know what the 4 sections of MyPlate are? Any guesses? You can guess.
Is protein one?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Do you think that that's a big part of the plate?
No.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Any other guesses? Okay. How about we go back? Think about the food pyramid. How many of you guys know what that is? Okay. So what are some of the categories on the food pyramid?
Grains.
Very good.
Grains. Okay. What else?
Anything else?
Fruits and vegetables. Good. Okay. Right. So MyPlate.
So basically it's the same exact thing. They just took it from a pyramid and put it on a plate so that it's more out. So you can use it more in your everyday life, and you can kind of look and, you know, you eat off of the plate. It's kind of hard to look at it whenever it's on a pyramid. So they just wanted to make it more user-friendly for kids and other people who don't really know how to use it or what serving sizes were and stuff like that. So does anyone kind of know what it looks like at least? I mean, besides you? No? Alright, well basically, what it is the plate's divided up into 4 sections, with another section over here to the side. So it's all the same stuff that you guys were labeling and saying before. So there's a section for fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and then dairies over here. And basically the one rule of thumb that they want you to follow is just making half of your plates fruits and vegetables. So as you can see, if you divide it down there, that kind of keeps, you know, what you're eating in track and make sure that you're getting a lot of the nutrients that you need and getting a variety of the nutrients.
And so what we want you guys to do is to take a few minutes and fill out your own MyPlate to get an idea of your portions and how you fit into MyPlate. So you can fill it with your favorite foods by looking at the way we did ours. So we're going to have color pencils and markers passed around. Okay.
Yes, let me take a couple of passages.
Everybody loves coloring, right?
So this is what we actually eat.
Yep, so
Yes.
just put in maybe like a typical meal, if you just ate dinner, or just your favorite foods, your draw foods, or just write it in there. Get creative.
Does anybody know like what government agency puts this out? There you go.
I figured. Yeah, they are. They are. I know, I think the main thing too is just to remember to do half of the plate fruits and vegetables and the other half gets to be grains and proteins.
So it was a trick question about the protein proportions. They're kind of almost all on the same
Yeah.
playing field, just with a little bit slight differences. You done?
Yeah.
Wow, he knows. He knows his plate.
are we doing, guys? So if you guys are done, if some of you are done, you guys can just turn to each other and maybe talk about what you put on your plate, and then we'll come back as a whole. Just take a minute or two while the others are finishing up.
Share your foods.
Chicken. There's some rice. Spinach. That's it.
It's supposed to be dairy. So,
Oh, that's what I noticed too. I think that some people did like what they eat, and I'm like, I read like what like it's supposed to be.
Okay, what did you guess? Bread.
On my plate.
either that.
And pasta, because I love the salad.
Yeah, I know.
Eat juices.
That's healthy.
Juices.
I don't know.
I was trying to listen.
I think it's every day.
Life is tough as hard.
It's good.
All right, so let's talk as a group about what we have put on our plate. I'm gonna choose a volunteer right now. Would you like to volunteer?
Oh, this is very nice.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so this is, what's your name?
Really?
Yes.
I'm awesome.
What's your name? Isn't your last name D-E-A?
Steven.
Steven. All right, Steven. All right, so this is Steven's MyPlate. So Steven's MyPlate is a little bit different than the ideal MyPlate, okay? So this is what he actually is eating. So for example, where it says carbohydrates, what kind of carbohydrates are you eating?
Beans, rice.
Beans and
Corn.
rice? Corn. Okay, well, corn is not just a carbohydrate, right? What else is corn?
Sugar.
It's a vegetable, so that could also fall into more than one category on my plate. And then, so for your protein, when you say protein, what are you talking about?
Steak, chicken.
Steak and chicken, that's pretty much protein. There's no, okay. All right, so, and you have vegetables in your cup. So, do you drink the juice or?
No, I just had no place for the vegetables, so I put them there.
Okay. Do you make smoothies maybe or something? No? Okay. All right, well, this is his MyPlate, and so he could look at this. And what kind of changes could you suggest for Steven's MyPlate? Lots of protein, so he could maybe cut back on the protein a little bit. What about his fruits and his vegetables compared to this MyPlate?
Could eat more.
Right, so he should work on maybe downsizing the amount of protein and carbohydrates he's taking and increasing his fruits and vegetables.
Maybe adding some dairy in there somewhere too.
Can't afford it.
All right, does anyone else have one that they want to share with us?
What about some favorites? What did you guys
Any
put down?
favorite foods that you guys have on there?
Green beans.
Green beans?
Does anybody else like green beans? Okay. So we said earlier about the food pyramid, and one of the reasons that they changed over to MyPlate is because people were having portion control issues. So, like Steven, you could now utilize the MyPlate and take better care of what you're eating and how you're building your plate at home. So that's one way this was a better format for the general public instead of the pyramid, because the pyramid was just all the food groups grouped together instead of a broken down plate. Okay.
All right, so one way that we do like to go over portion control sometimes is by using everyday objects to kind of compare it to some of the portions that you're eating, just so that, you know, the average person can kind of eyeball it a little bit better, as opposed to just asking them, you know, for 4 ounces of something or 2 tablespoons. How many of you guys would be able to know what that is if you scooped it out? Yeah, one person. 2, Stephen, you 2. Does anybody have any, have you guys heard of using everyday objects for portion sizes? Does anyone know what this represents? This deck of cards. Yeah.
Green.
How much?
No, it's still a good start.
Does anybody want to guess?
One serving.
Okay, 1 serving, so.
So how many ounces?
6, 7.
4.
Alright, well that explains a lot about Steven's MyPlate, because Steven's MyPlate was half protein, and that it actually is 3 ounces of protein. So when you said 6, that's double. So, okay.
Alright, let's see. Does anybody have any idea what this represents? It's 10 spell. Any guesses?
Fruit.
There you go. Any idea? Just how much fruit? No. It's just 1 serving of fruit. A lot of times, depending on the fruit too, it does get a little bit crazier because a cup, half cup of blueberries is going to be a lot more dense than a half cup of watermelon or something like that. But they generally say stick with a tennis ball. So your apples, oranges, that sort of stuff. It's going to be about a medium-sized piece of fruit. Does anybody have any idea of what you'd put in this hand?
This is,
It's supposed to just be
handful.
like your hand. Any idea?
Green.
Grain? That's a good guess.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Good.
Vegetables.
Vegetables. I eat vegetables with 2 hands. Alright, so this is just snack foods, basically. So like you guys said, pretzels, nuts, things like that. It's a 1 ounce measurement, okay? So that is 1 serving of a snack food, okay? Alright, and this one's my favorite because it measures my favorite thing. So what does this measure? Anybody have any ideas?
Chocolate.
No, not chocolate.
Okay, it's a good guess. Butter.
Butter. So what measurement? No guesses? Wave your hand. Think about measuring spoons.
Half tablespoon.
Tablespoon. Okay. So this is tablespoon, and I love peanut butter, and so I always think about a ping pong size of peanut butter for my tablespoon. Whoops. Okay, so these were the everyday objects that we wanted to show you guys. As you can see, these are very good visual tools for you when you're at home preparing. So now not only can you look at MyPlate and how the USDA wants you to break down your meals, but how looking at individual everyday items in your house can tell you if you're overeating, if you're eating the right portions, and things like that. Alright, so now that we have taught you guys about proportion control, looking at the MyPlate and everyday items, we also want to talk about just snacking in general. So we just talked about how a handful is a good measure of the snacks that you're eating. So this is 1 ounce, a 1 ounce serving. Well, we want to think about how much sugar are in your favorite snack foods and the things that you are choosing to eat, because a lot of times people don't realize how much sugar is in their snack foods. So what we have are 4 test tubes that we're going to hold up, and we're going to face the labels towards us. And you guys, these are your 4 options, and you're going to guess which is which, okay?
Alright, so we have Fruit Loops and or Lucky Charms, soda, Pop-Tarts, and ice cream.
Now just so you have an idea of what the measures are, we're going to come together so you don't have any idea. Okay, so it's 1 cup of cereal, 1 cup of ice cream, 1 Pop-Tart, and
12 ounces of soda.
yeah.
Alright, so does anybody have any guesses of which one is the soda?
Which one? Fullest one.
This one?
That one.
Anybody else?
Anyone? Other one? Alright.
Wait, we'll go through them
Yeah.
all and then, okay. Alright, so,
And then what about the ice cream? Any ideas?
he said the fullest one.
This one?
Okay, so what about cereal? This one?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Pop-Tarts? This one? You think Pop-Tarts would be really high?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so then let's just...
Well, this one actually is the vanilla ice cream. So a cup of ice cream, this is about how much sugar you're eating, which I don't know about you guys, but I always eat probably more than a cup of ice cream. So that's kind of fun. And then this one right here, this is the Pop-Tart. So for every Pop-Tart you're eating, and I know a lot of them come two in a package, so I always eat both of them. But this is the amount of sugar
In one.
in one. So double that.
Okay, and then so this is soda, so whoever said the biggest one was right. This is a 12-ounce soda, or pop, depending on who you are. To me it's soda. But, and then this is your cereal. So cereal is actually the lowest, but if you think about it, this is just one cup. How many times do you actually sit down and only eat one cup of cereal?
Especially Lucky Charms.
Yeah, or Fruit Loops. So this kind of puts it in perspective as to how much you're actually getting. And then if you think about like 7-Eleven and those big gulps and stuff like that, this is just 12 ounces. Those are like 36 ounces, 42 ounces. That's 3 times what this is right here. That is a lot of sugar.
I know sometimes, at least I don't really think about it a lot of times. I know the first time I saw these, I was kind of shocked, especially with the Pop-Tart one. Because, I mean, you know it's sweet, and you know obviously ice cream has sugar in it too, but they have, you know, it looks like about the same, so. But you would not really think too much about eating maybe a Pop-Tart or 2 for breakfast, but you really wouldn't eat maybe a cup of ice cream for breakfast because it's more of a dessert, so. I don't know. Just kind of make you guys a little bit more aware of the different sugars that are in things, added sugars in things. There's a lot of added sugars and salt actually in foods that we're eating, processed foods, that sort of thing. So whenever you're making choices like at snack time or whatever between snack time, back in kindergarten, between classes or whatever, maybe just keep in mind some of these because these do add up. The sugar adds up fast, especially calorie-wise, and it's a lot of usually stuff that you don't really need in your diet.
But if we do take a look at some of these options, what are some things that you could do to cut down the sugar? Like this, like I said, so this is the soda, this is the 12-ounce soda, and this is the cup of Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms. Okay, so what are some things that you could do so that you're not taking in, or you can talk about ice cream or Pop-Tarts, and don't just say not eat them, because we love food, it's in our nature, so we're going to eat it. But what can we do? Any suggestions?
Have a carrot.
Have a carrot. Yes, you can eat carrot, but if I wanted to drink a soda, what could I do so that I'm not taking in so much sugar? Water it down? I don't know if that would taste very good. Well, even since this is 12 ounces, maybe just drink a regular sized canned soda instead of getting the fountain drink. Or maybe doing half and half. You do like half diet and half regular, because then it still tastes the same, right? Or for Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms, maybe just pick a cereal. If you're a big cereal eater and it's convenient for you, maybe pick a cereal that just isn't so loaded with sugar. There's plenty of other options that are very good for you that have less sugar. Think of like Chex or Cheerios, or you know those. I guess the cereals that don't they're not as fun for kids would be the ones that are good for adults.
The other thing too with that is if you wanted to still maybe eat the Fruit Loops, you could always mix, or I guess it tastes better with Lucky Charms, but even mix some like less sweet cereals in with that. So put half Cheerios, half Lucky Charms. You're still getting all those marshmallows in there, but maybe not as much sugar. Did you guys find those to be interesting? I know I did whenever I first looked at them. We have sugar models, or not sugar, models too of all the salt that's in some foods, and those can get pretty high too. Especially since you don't really think whenever you're eating them how much you're actually consuming. So.
Alright, we just covered a lot of stuff. How do you guys feel? Are we okay? Can we ask you some questions? Okay. Alright, so MyPlate. What government agency puts that out for you? USDA, good, okay. And then for MyPlate, the what was its like predecessor? Like what was the first guide?
The food pyramid.
The food pyramid, good.
Right, and what does a handful measure? Snack foods. Good. What about the ping pong ball?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter, yeah. I'm just speaking my language. Okay, and then so, how many of you think that you could, next time you go and make your meal, whether it's at Foster where you have limitless possibilities or in your own home, that you could implement the MyPlate by taking your template with you so you see what kind of portions you're supposed to have? You could? You guys think you can?
Maybe add some more fruits and veggies to those plates.
Well, I challenge you, all of you, next meal you eat, to divide it up so your fruits and vegetables are on half, and then the protein and the starch are on the other half, okay? And then that milk is important. You want strong
Dairy.
bones. So,
I have a question. Because I can't keep milk down for the life of me, but taking like a calcium supplement, is that okay? Like when
Are you-
well,
Are you
yeah.
lactose intolerant?
No.
But a lot of other, you can also look at other options for dairy too. There's, yogurt, cheese, anything like that. If you can keep those down better, that still counts. So if you put maybe cheese on, your chicken or whatever, that still counts as the dairy, even though it's not sitting separate from everything else.
Did you have like almond milk or soy milk
You
instead?
could.
Definitely.
They'll still have the calcium and vitamin D and all that stuff in it. So if you are lactose intolerant or you just don't like milk for whatever reason, you can always switch it with almond milk, soy milk. There's a bunch of different options.
Yeah, there's lactate for people who are lactose intolerant. I personally love the almond breeze milk. That's what I drink. It's really good. It's my favorite. And it actually has more vitamin D and calcium than regular milk, but that's because it's added to it. It's like not naturally there, but it is a good substitute for those of you who don't like regular milk or vegetarians or things like that. So,
Any other questions?
what were anything that stood out to you guys that you found interesting from the lesson today? Is there anything that you were surprised to see, or
The sugar and ice cream.
the sugar? Yeah, the sugar. That, like Carla said, that's one of my favorite parts. I think that that's really interesting because you don't really, you don't think about it. So the question was, can we see the models again? So
Is that one?
that's
One
one
cup of ice
cup of ice cream. Now usually the serving size on ice cream is only half a cup, but I don't know about you guys, but I sit down and eat the whole pint.
All sugar. It's weird whenever they show it to you all at once. Anything else? Anything you guys?
The ping pong ball was for peanut butter because when I scoop, because I eat peanut butter on a spoon right in the shower, that would be a really small spoon.
It is.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea. So now that next time you're scooping out of the jar with your spoon, maybe think about, okay,
Ping pong balls.
yeah, 3 ping balls. Ooh, I don't know, that's a lot. So, all right, guys. Well, we hope that you have found this interesting and you learned something. And we challenge you to think about these things when you are choosing your snacks and when you're looking at your plate.
Thank you guys.
You stop filming now.